Durell Peart is on the line, and he is a Jamaican music business professional. So yesterday we did go to Tobago. Now we are in Jamaica for this Jamaican music business professional, speaker, author, and entrepreneur. And he's a graduate of Full Sail University's entertainment business. He was the valedictorian, y'all. And he's a valedictorian, y'all. And he is also a very inspiring young man, because he's an author as well of a book called Encourage and Inspire, More Than a Hobby, an inspirational memoir that shares his journey in the music industry while encouraging others to pursue their goals. But here's what's different about this gentleman. He was diagnosed with spastic dysplasia, cerebral palsy as a child, and has become an advocate for the special needs community, using his story to encourage others as well. He's worked with music industry partnerships and opportunities in Europe, Asia, Africa, helping independent artists think beyond local markets and build international audiences. He is named ambassador for the Black Music Appreciation Month in Europe in just 2024. Y'all gotta welcome on ear right now. Clap him even in the car. Clap him even in the studio. When me hear the clap them, clap the man. Thank you very much. That's Scotty way of clapping, y'all. Mr. Peart, welcome to the Candice Buchanan Show.
Hi, how you doing? And thank you for having me.
Oh, it is wonderful to have you. You are most welcome. So, man, what a journey. So, first of all, tell me about your roots, right? You come from Jamaica. How did that influence the journey you took to be the music business professional, global music professional, and entrepreneur that you are today?
Right. Yeah, so both my parents are from Jamaica. I've actually never been there, so I'm definitely more on the American side, but, big up to my parents. My dad is from St. Elizabeth Parish, and my mom is from Mandeville, Manchester, but she grew up in the States. But my father was born and raised in Jamaica and moved to the States in his early 20s.
So you're the product of two country people. Yes, people, right? Up in the mountains there. You're talking about Mandeville, which is where my dad's from, and St. Elizabeth. A lot of the St. Elizabeth, let me tell you something about St. Elizabeth people. Well, you should know your dad is St. Elizabeth. Hey, they stick together, They come in like the Asian community. Right. Them don't leave each other out.
Right.
So, having that, growing up in America, you're an American, you're growing up in a Jamaican household with two parents who are from the rural areas of Jamaica. And you are diagnosed with cerebral palsy. How did they deal with that challenge, and how does their Caribbean influence? How did that shape who you are today?
I think they dealt with it as best as anybody could. The doctors said, I was interested because I actually have a twin sister as well. And what's interesting is she actually does not have a disability at all.
Really?
She came out perfect. Yeah, she had no disability at all. I was the one diagnosed with the disability. She had nothing wrong. In fact, I came home before her, and she stayed in the hospital 7 weeks longer than I did. And about a year old, they noticed that she was functioning normally, and I wasn't. And they had to use a pillow to prop up my back. So that's where they said, okay, something's wrong with Durell. We have to take him to see the physician. And they actually said at the time I was 3 that I would walk normally. Obviously, the doctors were incorrect about that, but they
What a blessing! What a blessing!
Yeah, yeah, they did the best they could, and all you can do, because there's no handbook to deal with anybody with a special need. So all you can really do is just do the best you can, And I think they did a great job. I ended up having tendon release surgery in 1995, and then 1990, and then I started using crutches in 1992, and I've been on crutches ever since, and I've been living independently on my own really since 2008. I'm very, very blessed.
Congratulations on that, on your independence. Yes, I know for most of the special needs people that I've met, being independent is a big deal for them.
Yes, ma'am.
So for you to be able to be independent, but you've also gone ahead and accomplished so much, right? So when did this bug of music climb into your ear and decide that this is what you were gonna do?
Yeah, it's interesting because, here in Orlando, I did not grow up with a desire to be in the entertainment industry. I always say the entertainment industry found me. I was actually a part of a dance crew here locally back in the early 2000s, and we used to perform around town. And that's kind of what got the bug put in my ear. And then I realized that I wanted to be in the industry, but I wanted to learn the business.
So wait! Don't just fly past that. So you were told you were never gonna walk properly, but you were a part of a dance crew. Not only did you walk, you were dancing.
Yeah, so on my crutches. Yeah, so I was on a dance crew. So I'll tell you the quick story with that. So we got hired to do the Florida Classic weekend that happens in November every year. Between Florida A&M University and between Cookman, right? So that Friday night, they always do the high school, the Battle of the Bands, right? And so our dance crew got hired for that. And so at the end of the dance routine, they had a freestyle session. And they set the freestyle session up so that I would be the last person to come out and dance on my crutches. I was much younger and lighter back then. I don't do that much dancing now. But that was in front of like 18,000 people, whatever, it's 15,000 people.
Wow, and that's how entertainment kind of found you, and you.
Yeah, that's how it found me. I said, okay, this is fun. I want to do more of this.
So how did you end up in the business side of things?
Well, I knew for me, people and relationships was something that I'm really great at. So, when you think about the entertainment industry in general, pretty much every aspect of the entertainment industry is all about people and relationships and the way you slice the pie. So I was fortunate enough to meet my mentor. Yeah, in fact, he wrote the forward for the book. His name is LaShawn Jones. And he kind of brought me into the industry, and he took me under his wing when I was 19. He was about 25 at the time, and he just taught me the industry at the time. He taught me what he could, and he said, all right, I'm going to teach you the things you need to know. And then eventually, we started working with some artists. We had a little independent record label at the time. I started working with some artists here locally. And eventually, those artists, he moved away. LaShawn moved away to Raleigh, North Carolina, and then he said, all right, little bro, you on your own, you got to go figure it out. So I went to figure it out, and I started working with an artist named D. Cody, who was a R&B soul artist here locally. We put out an album, an independent album called Us Against the World. You can actually still find it on the internet. It's still on Spotify. That was in 2010. We made a lot of mistakes along the way. Well, what I learned was, I'm really passionate about helping people. And so that's kind of how I got started. I could go deeper, but I know we pressed for time.
Yeah, we are pressed for time, but that's very interesting. I now, obviously, with your disability, you had to overcome quite a few hurdles, I'm sure. What's the most common misconception about a person with disabilities when working in an industry like the entertainment industry?
I don't know if because there's not a lot of people with special needs in the entertainment industry. I mean, they have a few organizations like Grant, which is recording. I think it's called Recording Artists, something with disabilities. But I'm not really part of their organization, but I'm familiar with them. But I think for me, especially on the executive side, there isn't that many opportunities. So I don't know what the most common misconception. I mean, it's just that what I would say is just to give people an opportunity, because I wanted to be respected for my knowledge and my ability to help other people. Let's see, for me, I took a different niche, right? So I work with independent artists at the ground level. So most of the artists that I work with, you ain't never heard of before. Because for me, it was about impact and trying. I wasn't going to be out there trying to chase a bunch of celebrities trying to work with them. That really wasn't my lane, because my lane is really about how can I make a difference. And so I wanted to help people that I know could really use my help and value what I do. So I kind of went after what I call the 99%.
Oh, I like that. The 99%.
The 1%ers, right? But I went after the other 99% because oftentimes we always hear about the big names, right, in the industry. But that's only a small, very, very, very small portion of the industry. What about the other 99% of the people out there?
So, there's a lot of people that think only the celebrities make money in music, or
right.
It's not a viable source of income, or not a viable, parents, like, I'm sure you had to deal with your parents being from where they're from.
For sure.
At some point, saying, why are you wasting your time with this music thing? You need to go be a doctor or a lawyer. And I think now, even better than before, we are exploring places where people are able to get into the industries, these creative industries, and actually make some money. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of your work that you've done within the special needs community, because I think it's so important for us to open our eyes to the Caribbean Americans that do have disabilities, that are living and working here in the United States, and that need our support and need our help. So I want you to introduce me to some of the organizations and stuff when we get back from the break. Hang tight. We are speaking with Durell Peart.
WHPD-LP Orlando. Broadcasting on 98.5 FM. Island Fever FM. Caribbean Culture Community.
And we're back. We are talking with Durell Peart on Island Fever FM and on the Candice Buchanan Show. Big up the voice of the Caribbean to my listeners in South Florida. How are you doing? Durell, you still with me?
I'm still here, Candice.
All right. So let's talk about you. For those people who don't know or who are joining us late, we are highlighting Caribbean Americans that are making a difference throughout the diaspora. Yesterday we had a conversation with a gentleman from Tobago. Now we're having a conversation with a gentleman who was born in the USA, but his parents come from St. Elizabeth and Manchester in Jamaica. He's a twin that was diagnosed with cerebral palsy as a child, but didn't let that stop him. And now he's a big-time advocate for the special needs community. And I want to talk about that right now, Durell. Your work in the entertainment industry, we'll get back to that, but I definitely want to talk about you as an author and as a speaker and the philanthropic work that you do, the organizations that you work in. I'd like you to shine a light right now on the disabled community that exists within also our diaspora. You be the voice for them right now. What you got to say to the people?
Oh, man. I mean, like I said, there isn't necessarily one specific organization that I work with. What I just try to do is share my story and make a difference, right? Because there's so many people that are disabled, and the disability affects people. See, I'm very, very blessed because my CP is mild, and I can be a voice for people. I can speak clearly, articulately. That some people may not be able to do the things I'm able to do. I just want to be able to share my story and be a voice for people who don't often have a voice, right? And that was one of the reasons why I wrote the book, was because, you know, everything I've ever done in the entertainment industry, I've had to create the lane. There was no lane for me. You know, when I was a graduate from Full Sail University, there was no opportunity for me to go someplace because I could not leave Central Florida because I needed the support system, right? So I had to figure out how am I going to make this happen. And I was able to tap into some relationships and some resources and be able to start to help people. But for me, it's about being an inspiration. And that's really what it's about. Being an inspiration, because it's hard, and it was hard back then, and it's still hard now, because, you know, there really isn't a lot of organizations out there, because the entertainment industry, got to be honest, it's not very socially responsible. They're not out there really trying to, like, let's go out and try to find people and give them opportunity, because this is such a dog-eat-dog space already. And so you have to be able to prove that you can hold your own. So, but in terms of organizations, there, you know, I just try to just share my story and make a difference, and that's the best way I know how to do that.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I know within the Caribbean community, sometimes we can be a little insensitive to the plight of someone who is disabled. Growing up, you know, I know maybe not your parents, but extended family members. They I want people to understand that culturally we're not cruel people. We're not.
Right.
But we tend to be brutally honest in a way that can offend those who are not
I've heard people
from the Caribbean,
you know,
right? We don't mean bad. We just are going to tell you the truth. If you fart big, you fart big. And we're going to tell you. Right? Right. But, you know, here, you know, it's rude and frowned upon and stuff like that. But do you think growing up with an extended family that probably used to just, you know, say these kinds of, you know, harsh things to you, you think that helped you to develop a pretty thick skin, which is why you can kind of slug it out in the music industry?
You know, for me, honestly, everything you said is very I'm sure it's very true, because I've definitely heard that, right? But I personally have never experienced that. So, but I definitely, you know, I've never really dealt with, you know, negative aspects of people, like, you know, being tough with me and things like that, saying, you know, it's a very real thing. You know, so there's a lot of people that deal with that. But I can say that I've never dealt with that. I guess which is a good thing. But I just think that people just, the biggest thing I can share with people is that we're humans too. You know, in my family, you know what's interesting is both my mom and her sister both have sons with disabilities, because my cousin Joey, he has autism. So isn't that something? both sisters.
Both sisters
have disabilities.
Oh my goodness!
And Joey is so wonderful. He's 42 years old now, high functioning autism, you know, so I want to give him a shout out as well.
Shout out, big up Joey anyway. Big up Joey every time. Walk on, Joey.
Yes. So he's doing wonderful things, and you know, and so I'm like, how interesting is that? Yeah, I would be curious to find out how often that happen in one family where both sisters have sons with disabilities.
it comes across to me though that you were loved because of that,
Yes.
right? Like you were loved, you felt loved. I'm sure your sister loves on you even more as your twin. And it sounds like you have really, you had really good parents who really made sure they protected you and so on.
Absolutely.
What a blessing it is to have Caribbean parents, right?
Yes, they did a great job.
So my other question now is, in terms of working with creatives overseas, globally, and so on, do you think your Caribbean American heritage has helped or hurt you in these spaces?
I definitely think it's hurt. I think it's, anytime you can be global to help people. Because I think, especially because I work with majority of American-based artists, right? So, and one of my niches is how can I help? I can help you be global. So I think, obviously, being born to immigrant parents and having the opportunity to go to 10 different countries around the world, what it's shown me is that there's opportunities that may not be right in your backyard, but there's opportunities for you to do the things that you love to do. And it may not look the same, it may not look like what everybody else is doing, because see, in the entertainment industry, the path to success is not the same for everybody.
No, it's not.
Everybody has a different path. It might be a similar path, but it's not a cookie cutter. You can't model it. You can't say, okay, we're going to do it exactly this way. It's going to work out exactly this. Nobody can guarantee that.
So, in the interest of time, I'm going to ask you this last question.
Right.
Before I ask you where we can find your book and how can we learn more about your work, I do want to ask you, what does being a Caribbean American look like for you? What does it mean to you? And what does Caribbean American Heritage Month mean to you?
Well, it's great because it's a part of who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of my culture. And so being a chance to be a part of Caribbean, being a Caribbean descent, it really does put a smile on my face, and the fact that we have a whole month to recognize people that are in the diaspora and able to show their heritage, is a very special thing, and I'm very, very glad to have been able to share my story today. Well,
where can we find your book? Encourage and inspire and learn more about you, where we can follow you and things.
The ebook it's an ebook. It's actually on a platform called Gumroad. I think I gave one of your people working behind the scenes, Lori. I think she has a link that I sent to their email. So if they want to get the book, they can find and they can also find me on social media. Send me a message to my Instagram.
And what's your Instagram?
If they want. Yeah, it's Durell Peart. My first to last name, just Durell Peart.
That's it? Oh, you lucky so. Most of us cannot get our full name on social media so. You just get it so, Durell?
Yeah.
Big you up,
just
Durell.
My name. And if they want to get the book, the cool thing about the book is $9.99. But it's on a platform called Gumroad, and the reason I put it on that platform is because it allows people to name their price. So the minimum price for the book is $9.99, but if they want to pay more than that, they can, just to support me and my movement and my vision. They can name their price, and just want to support me when I'm doing this. I also have a promotional video that goes along, kind of explaining some more in depth about the book and what the book is about. So that's also on YouTube also too. So, but I can get all that information. Anybody that's interested, they can definitely get that.
So all you have to do is DM Durell Peart. Durell. Peart. All of we
Yes.
in Jamaica know the name Peart. Peart is a very Jamaican name.
Yes.
Very, very Jamaican name. So big up Durell Peart.
Yes,
Thank you so much for coming through and chit-chatting with us.
My father, Ebook Peart. You know, my mother, Heather Williams.
Peart.
So
No, sir, you can't get more Jamaican than Peart. Peart. Wow. Peart. Yes, sir. And big up Heather. Heather, what's her last name?
Heather Williams.
Heather Williams. You guys raise a wonderful young man. And we thank you for coming through and chit-chatting with us here on the Candice Buchanan Show, Durell.
Candice, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. That was Mr. Durell Peart. Music business professional, speaker, author, entrepreneur, and a gentleman, though diagnosed with cerebral palsy his whole life, has certainly advocated for the special needs community. If you want to support his book, Encourage and Inspire, we're going to post it on at Island Fever Plus. That's at Island Fever Plus and all your social media. If you want to hear this interview again, it will be up on the app as well. Download it anywhere you get your apps in your app store, whether it's your TV app, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Prime TV, Fire TV, or the Google Play Store or your Apple mobile app stores. We're going back to the music. Soca music style to the top of the hour. This is the Candice Buchanan Show.